The night when the stars shone brightly over Los Angeles. The lights of Hollywood illuminated the streets as famous actor and former wrestler Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson stepped out of his hotel, rushing to make it to an urgent meeting. Instead of waiting for his driver, he decided to hail a cab for a faster ride. A yellow taxi pulled up beside him, and the window rolled down. From inside, a middle-aged man with a tired yet kind voice asked, "Where to, my friend?" As Dwayne looked at the man's face, he sensed that there was something different about him. His eyes carried exhaustion, yet there was a certain spark within them. Stepping into the taxi, Dwayne greeted him. "Hey man, I need to get to Sunset Boulevard. Think we can make it fast?" The driver smiled. "Buckle up then," he said, pressing down on the gas. As they drove through the city, Dwayne noticed how skillfully the man handled the wheel, but he also caught sight of his hands trembling slightly. Turning his head slightly, he asked, "How long have you been doing this?" The man sighed lightly. "Name's Mike. I used to be a boxer. Had big dreams, but life sometimes hits you with a punch you don't see coming," he said. Dwayne, intrigued by the story, leaned in. "What happened? Why did you have to stop?" Mike kept his eyes on the road and exhaled. "I got injured, my manager abandoned me, and after that, things just kept getting tougher. But I didn't give up. I had a family to support, so I got behind the wheel and kept going," he explained. Hearing Mike's story, Dwayne felt a deep sense of empathy. He, too, had come from a tough past and knew that life could change in an instant. He thought for a moment and then smiled. "You know what, Mike? Seeing guys like you who never give up inspires me. A fighter never truly loses. He just changes the ring he fights in." Mike let out a small smile. "You're a fighter too, aren't you? I've been watching you since your WWE days. You never gave up, not even back then," he said. Dwayne remained silent for a moment before pulling out his phone and typing a message. Then, turning to Mike, he said, "I think you still have a chance to get back in the ring, man. You deserve an opportunity to carve your own path." Mike looked at him in surprise. "What do you mean?" he asked. Dwayne smiled and showed him the phone screen. "I just called my old coach, Joe. He runs a program that gives talented but unlucky athletes a fresh start. He's expecting you at training tomorrow morning." Mike's hands gripped the steering wheel tightly, his eyes welling up. "Man, you really did this for me?" he asked, his voice shaking. Dwayne placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder and smiled. "You're one of the guys who deserve to sweat it out in the ring. All you needed was a chance. Now all you have to do is make the most of it." The taxi arrived at Dwayne's destination. Mike's eyes shone with newfound hope. As Dwayne stepped out and shut the door, he turned back and said, "Remember this, man. Whether it's in the ring or in life, the most important thing is to never give up." That night, it wasn't just a ride. It was a life-changing moment. The next morning, Mike showed up for training, and years later, he made his name known once again in the fighting world. And it all started in a yellow taxi, on an unexpected journey with a man who never stopped believing in second chances.